Here's my review of Loki Season 2, Episode 5. I thought that this episode was great and probably the best episode of the season because you just get to spend a lot of time with all of these characters. You get to see what their previous lives were before they were stolen for the TVA. And I just thought that was just a really cool concept. It's almost just like an adventure and just like a peek into what their lives were. Like, you get to see Obi, and you get to see how he was working at a library. He wanted to be an author, and it kind of all makes sense. And then the best reveal, though, of course, getting to see Mobius on his jet ski. He's a jet ski salesman, and it's just awesome. And that's what makes, I think, this episode so great, is just getting to see these different lives is just very cool. Like, because in season 1, I mean, you kind of like there were big reveals that they were all stolen from the timeline, and because of like at the end, and getting to see this now is just very cool to see. Also, one of the coolest things I think is how Casey, his previous life was actually, he was one of the escapees of Alcatraz, and that's just a really cool concept. Like, I just loved seeing it. Like, you kind of see how they were right at the edge of the water, and then Casey, like, somehow disappears, and all the other escaped convicts are kind of confused. And it was just really cool. And then, because of that, when he gets into the TVA, he's kind of more untrustworthy and mischievous, because you're like, oh, is he going to steal something? I don't know. It's just really cool. Like, even though it was simple, just seeing the lives of these characters was really, really just awesome to see. Along with Sylvie, like, we kind of see her, I mean, she was, like, working at McDonald's or whatever, and then we kind of learn more about her. And then I feel like this episode, in terms of plot, it wasn't really feel like, it was more just, oh, we need you, we're just recruiting you. That's kind of what it felt like. But I was completely fine with it because I just liked seeing these characters. And then, in the very end, everybody kind of starts to disappear. And, like, you see that with Sylvie, like, her universe is kind of decaying. And it's just very, very cool to see. And I will say, there are some, like, random, like, oh, that was really easy. Like, how, Obi, how he kind of, like, oh, he gets the portal thing working. Kind of at a really convenient time to rescue Mobius in, like, his universe. And, like, there are some kind of things where, like, wow, that was so convenient. But overall, I thought this was a great episode. Like, the acting was spot on. I mean, Tom Hiddleston has embodied this role. He's fantastic. And I really have been just loving the visuals of seeing, like, everything mold and disappear. It's just beautiful. And the craziest thing is, like, Loki almost unlocks a new power because he basically stops all of it from happening. And then, because everyone starts to disintegrate, you see Casey disintegrate, you see OB, you see Mobius. And then just Loki stops it, and he's unlocking a new power. And then at the very end, he goes back to the end of the previous episode where Kang just died, or it was Victor Timely. And I just thought that this was a really cool concept. You're getting to jump around and getting to spend time with these characters. And that's what this show, I think, does so well. And just, like, the characters are just so interesting. And that's what makes this show so good. So, yeah, we get to see Mobius on the jet ski, which is just awesome. We get to just see awesome, like, concepts of the escapees of Alcatraz. And then, like, just like I said, like, how Obi is just some librarian, or, well, he's trying to be an author, which, that's actually another thing kind of left out, is how he was basically writing about this stuff in his timeline, so he has the knowledge that Loki needs, which is just a really cool concept. Could it be, like, kind of like, oh, how convenient? Could it be lazy writing? Yeah, but it was cool. But overall, I thought this was just a really fun episode. Like, the emotion was great. The acting was fantastic. I mean, like I said, Tom Hiddleston, just, he's able to give so much emotion, especially towards the end when everything disappears. It's like his eyes, the fear in his eyes is just so well conveyed here. It's just fantastic. And I didn't really have any major problems with this episode. I thought it might be my favorite. I don't know for sure. I still really liked episode 3 a lot too. But I didn't really have any major problems with this episode. I thought it was overall very, very good. I thought the visuals were spot on. I thought the acting was incredible. And I think because, like, the core concept is so simplistic, like, of just, it's just like, oh, let's just see what these characters' lives were like. Like, yeah, that's kind of simplistic. but that allows it to all be character driven. Like, we learned that Mobius had 2 sons, and it's just very interesting to see. And like at the end, like Loki's like, "Don't worry, you will see your sons again." And I mean, I don't really know after what happened. Yes, Loki saved it, but like, what does that really mean? It just leaves with a lot of questions. And it's just overall, I thought it was a fantastic episode. I really enjoyed it.